There are times when you're going to be asked to put decimals in order. Let's say we have 5.05, 5.5, and 5.005. When you're asked to put decimals in order from least to greatest, then what you're going to want to do to make it simpler for you is you're going to want to make equivalent decimals. And you're going to want to make equivalent decimals that all extend out to the same place value. So because this has 1, 2, 3 numbers in it, we're going to want to extend this out to 3 numbers and this out to 3 numbers. The best way, actually the only way, to make an equivalent decimal for this, if you're looking for another number here, there's actually an invisible 0, and there's a whole video on that. But there's an invisible 0 here, and here, and here. And the dots don't mean anything. If you were to write just a plain old 0, that would also be acceptable. The dots just remind you that it doesn't have to be there, but it is. So when we're putting things in order from least to greatest, we want to look first at the biggest digit, which is the digit all the way over to the left. So we're going to look at this 5. Well, they're all 5s, so that's not going to help us. So now we're going to go over to the next digit, which is going to be the 10th digit. We see that 0 is not big, 0 is not big, 5 is big. So 5.5 is actually going to be the greatest number. And you don't have to put the invisible zeros, but you can if you wish. So we're done with 5.5. That's the biggest. Now we want to find the second biggest. 5s are the same, zeros are the same. Let's look at the hundredths column. Now we have 5.5, so it's going to be 5, or 5.05, 5.05, and I'm going to skip the invisible 0 on that one because I don't need it. Then I'm left with 5.005, 5 and 5 thousandths for my biggest number. And that's how you put decimals in order from least to greatest. It doesn't matter if you start off at least and get to greatest, or start off at greatest and get to least. It's whatever works best for you. Let's look at something that's a little bit more different. Let's say we have 39 and 4 hundredths. We'll look at 38 and 564 thousandths, and 12 and 99 hundredths. So to put these in order, we'll put least on top and greatest on bottom. That works for me as a visual picture because I think of the least being the smallest as like the top of the pyramid, and the greatest being the bottom of the pyramid where it can hold the most weight. But it's whatever works for you as long as you label which one's least and which one's greatest. If they ask you to put things in order from greatest to least, then you should start off with greatest and go down to least, otherwise you'll have a backwards answer. To look at these numbers, we're going to figure out which one of these is the greatest. Just because a number is longer does not mean it's the greatest number. In this case, the greatest number is going to be 39 and 4 tenths, because when we look at this 3, we're seeing that 3's are bigger than the 1, and 39 is bigger than 38. So 39 and 4 hundredths goes to the bottom. The next biggest number between 38 and 12 is definitely going to be 38 and 564 thousandths. And then, at the very least, at the very tippy top, we have 12.99. Just remember to take things in order by place value. So start here. And move this way when you're looking for which number is the biggest.